best symbols, according to Loisy, such basic tenets of Christian teaching as the virgin birth and Jesus' divinity were no longer tenable. Rome, in trying to play Frankenstein, had created a monster in her own laboratory in 1902. Shortly before his death, Pope Leo XIII created the Pontifical Biblical Commission to supervise and monitor the work of Catholic scriptorial scholarship. Later that year, Leo's successor Pius X placed Loisy's work on the Inquisition's Index of Forbidden Books. In 1904, the new pope issued two encyclicals opposing of scholarship, which questioned the origins and early history of Christianity. All Catholic teachers suspected of modernist tendencies were summarily dismissed from their posts. The modernist, of course, comprising the best educated, most erudite and articulate enclave in the church, did not hesitate to fight back. They were supported by prominent thinkers and by distinguished cultural and literary figures in Italy. One such was Antonio Fogazzaro. In 1896, Fogazzaro had become a senator. He was also regarded as the leading Catholic layman of his day, and by his contemporaries at least, as the greatest novelist Italy had produced since Manzoni. In the Saint, published in 1905, Fogazzaro wrote the Catholic Church, calling herself the fountain of truth, today opposes the search after truth, when her foundations, the sacred books, the formulae of her dogmas, her alleged infallibility, become objects of research. To us this signifies that she no longer has faith in herself. Fogazzaro's work, needless to say, was itself promptly placed on the index, and the Church's campaign against the movement it had fostered and nurtured proceeded to intensify. In July 1907, the Holy Office published a decree officially condemning modernist attempts to question church doctrine, papal authority, and the historical veracity of biblical texts. Less than 2 months later, in September, modernism was effectively declared to be a heresy, and the entire movement was formally banned. The number of books on the index suddenly and dramatically increased. A new, much more stringent censorship was instituted. Clerical commissars monitored teaching with a doctrinal rigidity unknown since the Middle Ages. At last, in 1910, a decree was issued requiring all Catholics involved in teaching or preaching to take an oath renouncing all the errors of modernism. A number of modernist writers were excommunicated. Students at seminaries and theological colleges were even forbidden to read newspapers. In the 1880s, however, all of this still lay in the future. Among the young modernist clerics of the 1880s, there was a naive credulity and optimism, a fervent conviction that methodical historical